Welcome back to Wrenches in Motion, and what we have today is, you're familiar with the CRV, you've seen it in enough videos, and you'll know that this is another motor that blew a head gasket right after I put it in. And if you know me well enough, you know that I don't like to use motor in a can, but here it is, Blue Devil pour and go head gasket sealer. Permanent repair guaranteed. Okay? Now, I really don't want to take this head off, go through all that. So, I figured, what the heck? Let's give it a shot. So what we're going to do is drain the radiator down enough to be able to pour this bottle in. It says engine must be cold before this process starts, so the engine's cold. Important, pour slowly. Start the engine while cold. Turn the heater on max. With the engine idling, slowly pour it into the radiator. After pouring it, replace the cap. Let it idle with the cap on for 50 minutes, maintaining normal operating temperature, which it will do. And then top off the radiator, and you should be good to go. So, I'm skeptical. I'm sure everybody out there is skeptical. I have no idea if this is going to work. I'm going to say no right away. But what would happen was, after running it, the top radiator hose would get really hard, and you'd see bubbles come in the coolant. So what we're hoping is that we drain it down, pour this crap in, let it circulate, seal the head gasket, and then after it cools down, we'll come back. Actually, while it's running, we'll check the pressure, see if the hose is nice and hard, which it should be soft like that, nice and squishy. And hopefully no more bubbles in the coolant. Okay, so we've got the coolant drained out, and that looks pretty empty in there. So next thing is to start it, and it doesn't say to shake it or anything, so I guess you just pour it in. So this thing hasn't been started in so long, I don't even know if it's going to start. Look at that. Just like downtown. Okay, it doesn't say get up to temperature before you pour it in. Well, I know the other stuff, it says it takes like 60 seconds to pour in. So, we're going to do this nice and slow. Alright, it's been over a minute. I'm still pouring. So I don't know how slow is slow. Luckily it's a nice day today. Gotta be about 45 degrees. I'm mainly videotaping this for the guarantee. Make sure I'm doing this right. It says pour in slowly. Well, it's going pretty slow. It's about 2 minutes. Alright, now cap on, let it idle for 50 minutes. So, I'm going to set the timer and go work on the CL some more, and we'll be back. Okay, we've got about 17 minutes left, and this hose is getting pretty hard, and it's very hot, and so is that one, so I'm not sure this stuff is working or not, but we're gonna let it go. We got 17 minutes left, and then we'll shut it down, let it cool down, top off the radiator, and then fire it up and see if we got any leaks, or see if it's blowing bubbles into the radiator. Right now, coolant's at 208. I'm a little concerned. I think the fans come out at 209. I was out a little bit ago. The fans were on and the coolant temp was 207. So that's what I suspect. But I know the fans do work, so it's not a problem with the relay. I was suspecting that one of the fans might have been bad, causing the head gasket to go earlier, but I guess that's not the case. Okay, so it's been 50 minutes. Actually about 55. This hose was soft. It's still not very hard. It's a little bit stiff, but not out of the ordinary. So we're gonna let it cool down and then add some fluid to it and start it up, and hopefully we don't see any bubbles. One thing I want to mention is that temperature when I shut it down was down to 203, and I didn't see the fans on, so I guess that's good. Before you do this, it's highly recommended that you check your fuel level. I didn't. Luckily, I've got over half tank, so I was good to go, but I thought about that afterwards, and I was thinking, well, just don't run out of gas during this. But I guess I got 2.5 cans over there that have something in them, so I was covered. But yeah, check your gas level before you do this. Okay, I don't see any bubbles. Could this stuff really have worked? Boy, I don't know. Let's take it down the road. The hose is nice and soft, but I don't see any bubbles like it was. I mean, it was bubbling before. And yeah, we'll take it down the road. We'll come back. We'll check the hose, see if it's built up any pressure. All right, just come back from the trip down the road. It's got a little pressure to it, but I'll tell you what, I'm not so sure it's going to be good or not. I'll let you watch me get burnt. As I get close, it should release the pressure. There's definitely some pressure in there. So yep, you can see it. I knew the hose was hard. You can see all the bubbles. Didn't work. So I noticed that the two that I bought did not have the cargo rack. So pulled a piece of trim off, and I look and I see a couple bolts sticking up. So I'm like, huh, okay. So there's 3 sets of those. Came over here to the parts CRV, and I used the number 3 Phillips and took out the 12 screws holding the rack down, so the rack is loose. And then I got these T30s to mount. That's just how I thought they were. So the Phillips screws go into here to hold the rack to the mount, and the mount uses these T30s to go into the studs. So really the only thing I need to do is cut my trim right about there and there. And same thing for the back. Mount these onto here, and then I can mount the rack on, and we have a cargo rack installed. How sweet. All right, so let's continue the journey, shall we? Oh, come on, slide. Just move a little bit so this gets right in the way. Perfect. All right. These are kind of rusted, so I'm hoping they come out. This one should. Yeah, that one's gonna come out. Ow! That hurt. You saw it. Alright. So that's number 2. I'm going to try to keep these oriented so when I go to put them in, I'll put them in the right way. Okay, this one's going to take some digging. And sometimes you got to show it who's boss. So we got one out. Back one out. The front one just stripped. So we're going to drill it out. And then if we get another bolt, fine. If we don't, we'll just leave it. It's got plenty of stuff to hold it in place. And just like that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 24 screws later, we have a newly installed roof rack on the blue CRV.